It's Tuesday, August 25th. In the headlines, opposition seeks full briefing on Jamaica-US status of forces agreement. In business news, we have some information on the Forex and other financial market updates. Regionally, the Caribbean Court of Justice urged to restore public trust amid internal conflict. And in sports, Jamaica set for strong showing at Diamond League final. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Opposition spokesman on national security, Petrojam, is calling for a full briefing on the newly signed Status of Forces Agreement, SOFA or SOFA, between Jamaica and the United States. Mr. Jackson has written to National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang requesting the briefing at the earliest possible time. In a release on Monday, Mr. Jackson said the opposition wants details on the key provisions of the agreement, as well as the safeguards in place to protect Jamaica's national interests and security. The agreement, announced in a joint statement by the Jamaican and U.S. governments last Thursday, establishes the terms governing the presence of U.S. military personnel in Jamaica, while carrying out mutually agreed activities, including training exercises and joint operations. Stricter water conservation measures are being implemented in Kingston and St. Andrew as severe drought conditions continue to affect the Constant Spring network. The National Water Commission, NWC, adjusted its water supply schedule this week, with water available between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. daily until further notice. The NWC explained in a press release that the measures are necessary as storage at the Hermitage Dam has fallen to 31.4% of capacity. Water prohibition orders are also in effect in St. Thomas, St. Mary, Portland, St. Anne, St. Catherine, and Kingston and St. Andrew, banning the use of NWC-supplied water for non-essential or unusual purposes. Violators face a $1,000 fine or up to 30 days in prison. The NWC says 2 additional parishes are expected to be added to the prohibition list at the end of the month. 4 top-performing students from Greenwich Primary and St. Andrew Primary are the latest beneficiaries of Petrojam's scholarship program, as the state-owned refinery marks 2 decades of investing in education. The initiative of Petrojam's Community Outreach Committee will provide students with financial and other support throughout their secondary school years, provided they maintain the program's academic and disciplinary requirements. Lenita Rodney has the details.
4 students are getting a head start on secondary school through the Petrojam PEP scholarship program. Julie Gordon and Neymar Price of St. Andrew Primary and Kenza Riley and Denisha Watson of Greenwich Primary are the latest recipients. Speaking on behalf of General Manager Danville Walker, Communications Manager Elon Parkinson said the program represents a long-term investment in Jamaica's young people.
Today, we mark a milestone that speaks to 20 years of deep commitment, the 20th anniversary of the Petrojam PEP Scholarship Program, under the theme, Fueling Dreams, Empowering Minds, Building Jamaica. That's 2 decades of investing in Jamaica's most valuable resource, our children. It's 2 decades of opening doors that might otherwise have been closed, and 2 decades of proving year after year that when we believe in our young people by giving them the tools they need to rise to meet and exceed every expectation placed upon them, greatness happens.
He shares the program is now preparing for its next chapter, with special recognition for students in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Consistent with the new ambitions of our next generation of innovators and change makers, I'm very pleased to announce that the Petrojam PEP Scholarship Program will be expanding to include special recognition that focuses even more on science, technology, energy, and math. This new area of focus is even more consistent with what we do as Jamaica's multi-energy innovator.
Human Resource Development and Administration Manager Colin Barnett adds that Petrojam support extends beyond the annual award.
From grade 7 right up, we have 10 persons, 1 boy, 1 girl from each school at the secondary level. And during the year, we would have the homework center that we provide transportation and we bring them in. We have a tutor, and beyond that, we have a mentorship program that exists for the students.
The 4 students were recognized at Petrojam's 20th anniversary luncheon in Kingston. Each will receive $60,000 annually, a laptop, and continued academic and mentorship support as the company expands its investment in Jamaica's youth and future workforce. For the news on PBCJ, I am Denida Rodney.
Jamaicans are being invited to apply and nominate scientists and innovators for the Scientific Research Council's 2026 Young Scientist Technologist Award. Executive Director of the SRC, Dr. Shara Watson, says they are seeking transformational and applied research that addresses real challenges.
We are more focused on applied research and technology development as we look for more commercialized output from the research initiative that we undertake, not just at the council, but also in the wider scientific community.
Dr. Watson says applicants should ideally be 40 years old or younger in 2026 and actively engaged in research relevant to Jamaica's development. Jamaican scientists and technologists, including those in the diaspora, are encouraged to apply. Non-Jamaicans who have lived in Jamaica for at least 10 years and conduct research relevant to the country are also eligible.
That are part of postgraduate, that they could be recent graduates or postgraduate or postdoctoral fellows that are working in Jamaica as well as in the diaspora. As long as you're a Jamaican scientist or technologist, it is open to you. So we're encouraging scientists in the diaspora to also apply.
Finalists will present their research at the 32nd SRC Science and Technology Conference, scheduled for November 17 to 19 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in Kingston. The winner will also receive a cash prize.
They will be recognized as a part of the National Innovation Awards on November 26th. So the competition will take place during the conference, but the naming of the winner will be done as a part of the National Innovation Awards.
Applications and nominations close on September 30, 2026. Interested persons can contact the SRC at innovate@src.gov.jm for application forms and additional information. Patients and visitors to the Princess Margaret Hospital in St. Thomas are having a cooler experience at the facility. This after Masonic Homes donated several industrial fans to the hospital recently. Parish Manager for St. Thomas Health Services, Steve Riley, spoke to us after the handover.
That the staff, the patients and visitors will feel much more comfortable at the hospital. So we're indeed thankful that the Masonic Homes could partner with us and to share in ensuring that there is relief and enhancing the atmosphere at the hospital.
It's back to school season again. If you have not brought your child for a medical checkup or vaccination, you have a few more days to do so. Under Jamaican law, children must be vaccinated against the following preventable diseases: smallpox, pertussis, polio, tetanus, diphtheria, measles, mumps, rubella and congenital rubella syndrome, Haemophilus, influenza type B, hepatitis B, and tuberculosis. Let's hear more about the measles vaccination.
For a vaccine to reach your arm, it takes science, planning, and the cooperation of an entire community.
It wasn't that bad, was it?
To understand why, we need to go back in time when measles was spreading and causing widespread harm.
Our top story tonight, measles is causing millions of deaths around the world.
Measles, like many other diseases, is vaccine preventable. That is why, in the 1970s, the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, and the countries of the Americas decided to build a more protected region. That commitment led to the creation of the Expanded Program on Immunization and the Revolving Fund, mechanisms that to this day help deliver millions of vaccine doses to people across the region. Vaccines have a cost. Supply is not always stable, and procuring them individually can be a challenge for countries. So we chose a different path. Countries across the region would access vaccines together, instead of negotiating on their own. The revolving fund supports the procurement process. The result? Quality vaccines, greater access, equitable distribution, and a more reliable supply, helping countries achieve their immunization goals. For more than 4 decades, these mechanisms have helped protect millions of people.
Breaking news.
It seemed like measles was a thing of the past. But in recent years,
Measles is
More
back.
than 20,000 cases in 20.
the pandemic disrupted some health services and misinformation spread. A disease we thought was behind us came back. The solution is within reach. Through the revolving fund, countries in the region can access the doses needed to regain control of a disease we already know how to defeat. But all of this effort only works if we can count on you.
Your decision makes a difference.
Time now for the business report.
Profits for the Jamaica Public Service Company has almost doubled for the first 6 months of this year. The JPS recorded net profit of US $3.5 million for the period, a 95.8% increase. The company says the improvement was driven mainly by lower electricity production costs and reduced operating expenses. JPS recorded revenues of US $270.3 million, a 3% decline from a year earlier. However, the cost of producing electricity fell by 2.8% to US $67.2 million. The company also reported income from other sources of US $17.3 million, a 257.3% increase when measured against the previous year's loss. For the trading period of August 24, 2026, the most actively traded securities were Supreme Ventures Limited with 342,679,391 units, representing 93.91% of market sales. Trans-Jamaica Highway Limited with 4,981,752 units, representing 1.37% of market sales. Jamaica Stock Exchange shares with 1,665,678 units, representing 0.46% of market sales. Investor activity remained concentrated in distribution and transportation plays, signaling continued interest in dividend-producing and strategic assets. Turning to the foreign exchange market based on Bank of Jamaica data for August 24, 2026, Forex traders recorded significant activity with strong demand across major currencies. For the US dollar, trading margins reflected steady liquidity, with the US selling at $159.33 and buying at $157.56. Moderate gains supported by 50-cent transaction spreads. The Canadian dollar sold for $100 $215.09 and was bought for $114.59. For the British pound, continued volatility offered short-term trading opportunities of $2.02 in profits for the bank. The British pound sold for $215.01 and was bought for $212.99. These movements underscore the importance of cash flow timing and currency awareness for businesses managing import costs, debt servicing, or overseas exposure. For our credit report tip of the day, what if the question isn't, should I take on debt for professional development? What if the question is, can I use structured debt to increase my earning power? Business coaches, training companies, and professional schools increasingly offer payment plans from 6 weeks to 36 months, including interest-free options. Traditional education loans may also be available. That creates an opportunity, but also a financial responsibility. A $10,000 program paid over 24 months may feel very different from paying $10,000 up front, but the obligation still exists. And your credit profile may be affected depending how the financing is structured. Before signing, find out, is there a hard credit inquiry? Will the account be reported to credit bureaus? Will on-time payments help build your credit history? Will missed payments be reported? And what is the total monthly obligation? The key issue isn't whether you have debt, it's whether the debt is helping you acquire an asset that can increase your income, expand your professional opportunities, or create a new revenue stream. Professional development can be an investment, but investment should have a thesis. Don't ask, can I afford the monthly payment? Ask, will this training enable me to earn that I cannot earn today? That is the difference between simply financing education and strategically financing your professional future. And that's today's business report. I'm Denise Williams. Until next time, stay informed, stay intentional, and keep building forward. See you soon.
In regional news, in Trinidad and Tobago, political scientist Professor Hamid Ghani has weighed in on the controversy currently surrounding the Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, the region's highest court. Professor Ghani believes the matter must be resolved in a manner that restores public confidence and trust in the institution, underscoring the importance of preserving the court's credibility and integrity. The details from TTT News.
The Caribbean Court of Justice is embroiled in a major internal conflict which has centered on allegations of panel fixing, judicial suppression, and has led to a leadership crisis. While a dress code issue triggered the controversy, the leaking of judges' private emails further escalated the matter. Political scientist Professor Hamid Ghani described the situation as one of grave concern and reiterated his opinion that the controversy has damaged public confidence and trust in the institution.
The issue of leakage of further emails or anything like that will be damaging. So the judges and the Chief Justice really need to get together and work this out in a way that is going to telegraph to the public that we have settled our differences and you can trust our judgments, and we're not involved in panel fixing, and we're not involved in, suppressing dissent in the court. And yes, we could have minority judgments and all of these things.
The internal conflict over the dress code became public when CCJ President Justice Winston Anderson drafted a judicial dress code to the Regional Judicial and Legal Services Commission in June.
All of these things, these are issues that really ought to have been settled, and none of this ought to have gotten to where it reached. The Regional Judicial and Legal Service Commission has a real task on its hands because it can investigate the judges, but it can't investigate the Chief Justice. And I think that, somebody has to decide who investigates the Chief Justice. How is this going to be resolved?
Professor Gani outlined the actions he believes are necessary for the Caribbean Court of Justice to regain public confidence and trust, stressing that key questions remain over who will handle the matter involving the Chief Justice and the path forward in addressing the issue.
Well, they have to demonstrate that there has been real healing. And that they have come to some kind of resolution of all these differences, and for it to be manifested in such a way that the public would trust whatever is being put on show. I mean, if it is that they have not been able to resolve these differences, then you're going to have more problems.
The CCJ acts as an international court with exclusive authority to interpret and apply the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, which applies to all 12 Caribbean Community member states. It also acts as the highest national court of appeal for Barbados, Belize, Dominica, Guyana, and St. Lucia.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines is calling for a major shift in how international partners finance agriculture in small islands developing states. Agriculture Minister Israel Bruce says the region must move away from short-term project funding toward long-term investment systems that support farmers, infrastructure, water access, and climate resilience. GBN News has that report.
Speaking from the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification Summit, COP17 in Mongolia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines Minister for Agriculture, Israel Bruce, issued a powerful call to international development partners stop relying on piecemeal short-term project financing. Instead, he is calling for structured agricultural investment systems built specifically for small island developing states. For decades, Caribbean agriculture has been caught in a frustrating cycle. Local authorities draft climate adaptation concepts, but these ideas stumble when trying to secure bankable global finance. At a high-level ministerial dialogue on innovative financial mechanisms, Minister Bruce made the case that small island states need smarter, more accessible financing, a framework that connects early-stage design directly with local agricultural realities.
This dialogue goes beyond merely seeking additional funds. It is about creating a financing system that aligns with the unique challenges and opportunities facing our small island developing states.
He identified the need for this financing to move beyond projects and connect various attributes, including credit infrastructure, climate finance, water access.
These resources work in synergy rather than in isolation.
Framework.
To achieve these excellencies, we must transition from project financing to investment financing that considers the broader conditions that affect our farmers. This includes ensuring access to reliable water, adequate infrastructure, necessary agricultural support services, etc. These elements form the backbone of our agricultural investment infrastructure.
Minister Bruce pointed to regional models that prove integrated approaches work, such as St. Vincent's Farmer Support Company, the Caribbean Development Bank's infrastructure backing, and the Global Environment Facility's climate grants. However, the minister noted that when these mechanisms operate in isolation, local food producers suffer.
We also recognize the critical role of science and data in this process. By implementing soil analysis and geospatial systems, we can better identify where investment should be directed, reducing uncertainty and enabling smarter decision-making.
By leveraging regional bodies like the Partnership Initiative for Sustainable Land Management, the minister noted that island nations can pool data, reduce risk, and build investment-ready proposals together. If global institutions answer this call to fund early-stage project preparation, the impact across the Caribbean could be immediate. It means turning abstract climate pledges into reliable irrigation networks, stronger credit lines for local smallholders, and enhanced food security for the entire region. I am Gerard Joseph reporting.
In sports, we lead off with some athletics news. Jamaica will field a strong contingent at the Wanda Diamond League final in Brussels, Belgium on September 4 and 5, with 12 athletes already assured of places. Sprinter Oblique Seville tops the men's 100-meter standings with 23 points. Orlando Bennett, Jordan Scott, Romain Beckford, and Roger Stunner have also secured qualifications in the men's 110 meters hurdles, triple jump, high jump, and discus throw, respectively. The women's team will be led by Nikisha Price and Stacey Ann Williams in the 400 meters, while Tina Clayton and Janelle Smith have qualified in the 100 meters. Rochelle Clayton is also safely through in the 400 meters hurdles, while Akila Smith and Danielle Thomas Dodd have secured places in the triple jump and shot put. Under the 2026 Diamond League format, the top 8 athletes in track events from the 100 meters and 800 meters qualify for the final, while the top 6 advance in field events. In other news, Jamaica's national lacrosse team has secured its place at the 2027 World Lacrosse Championships, despite missing out on a medal at the Pan American Men's Lacrosse Championship. Jamaica went down 16-9 to Haudenosaunee in Sunday's bronze medal match. The teams were separated just 1 goal at halftime, but Haudenosaunee pulled away in the second half, outscoring Jamaica 8-2 over the final quarters. Hayden Hills scored 4 goals for Jamaica, while Stone Evans and Elias McLaughlin added 2 each. Head coach Mark Wilson says qualifying among the tournament's top 5 teams is a major step towards Jamaica's long-term goal of reaching the 2028 Los Angeles Olympic Games. And that's it for the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thanks for watching.